Thank you so much for joining us today's evening. I have a few questions for you on behalf of the Balipara Foundation. The first one being the Eastern Himalayas and the Third Pole are critical for regional and global water security, as you also mentioned. How can international diplomacy foster collaborative governance among nations to address the shared challenges of climate change?
Well, it's a great question. I think good diplomacy starts with good listening. When we're good listeners, whether it's listening to a country like India, whether it's listening to communities who already are taking care of nature and living with nature, or whether we listen to activists and listen to Earth itself telling us what the answers are, good diplomacy is about listening and then acting. So I've spent, the last 2 years, and the U.S. has spent a long time here in India, listening to the people of India. So when we see something like the great work of this foundation, looking to make sure we preserve, conserve, and regenerate a forest that is not just part of India, but part of 4 or 5 countries and critical to all human beings. That's why we have USAID programs doing reforestation in India together with those local communities. We don't come with solutions when we're good diplomats. We come with good ears.
Another one being urban development in fragile ecosystems, and with increased urbanization encroaching sensitive Himalayan ecosystems, what best practices can cities adopt to balance development with environmental sustainability?
I led a great global city for many years in Los Angeles for 10 years, and I worked with so many sister and brother mayors, chief executives around the world. And I think we learned one universal truth, which is you can't banish nature from a city. We think of a city as something man-made, different than nature. But you can plant trees on the street. You can change the power we generate to make sure it's zero carbon and doesn't destroy forests. You can make sure there's zero waste in your city, that your transportation and housing is green, that you're able to recycle water. And when you do those things, you also create jobs and opportunity. It's no longer the economy versus ecology. It's the two of them together. It's what naturenomics is all about. That these things move together, depend on each other, always have, but even in modern times, even more so they must.
The last one being the Eastern Himalayas are home to rich cultural diversity. How can cultural diplomacy and civic engagements be used as tools to promote environmental awareness and foster cooperation between local communities?
I've been coming to the Himalayas since I was 14 years old, and I've seen, as ambassador, communities in Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh, up in Bhutan, here. We see across the Northeast, all the way into Myanmar, all the way back to Nepal, one of the greatest backbones of this world that captures rain and provides watershed and prosperity to so many. And the cultures that are here are as diverse as the biodiversity of plants and animals too. You can go from one village to the next, and even if you're in Nagaland, see a completely different Naga tribal tradition. You can go across the border and see people who are worshiping God in a different way, but also sharing with each other and becoming hybrid culture for the next generation. I think we have so many lessons to learn from nature, that we're strongest when we embrace that diversity. We're strongest when we embrace the difference. In a world where we see so many divisions because I see you as somebody different than me, nature teaches us, no, we are one and the same. We must bring our roots together culturally. While we respect the differences, we know that only together we will survive.
Thank you so much. Thank you.